Hensche Jahajavicta Selexia. That means, hi, my name is Alexia, and that's in the Muskogee Creek language. And today I'm going to talk to you about special populations, Native American students, and I'm really excited because I'm Native American. Before we get started, did you know that there are over 564 federally recognized tribes? And it's important to know this because although we're all Native Americans, we each have our own tribe, and so we have our own just like we have our own language, we have our own culture, we have our own type of clothing that we wear. So not all Native Americans are the same. That's important to know. Here's a picture of my family right here, and we are Muskogee Creek Indians. There's some old pictures of like my aunts, my great aunts and uncles, and over here is a picture of all my my grandma and all her siblings, and we're all Muskogee Creek Indians. This is a cool picture over here too. Before also, I wanted to share with you guys a little background history because I think it's important to know. So as I said, I'm Muskogee Creek, and we're one of the 5 civilized tribes. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the 5 civilized tribes, but basically, we were referred to as a civilized tribes because we had adapted the English language and their clothing. Also, we had we had our own like government. It was very sophisticated, and we also had slaves. We started off in the over here where it used to be Florida and Alabama and Georgia. And in 1851, Andrew Jackson, he decided to relocate the Native Americans to what today we call Oklahoma. And a lot of tribes did fight back, and it sparked a lot of wars, and a lot of Native Americans died. Well, a lot of people in general died. And then not only that, though, on their way back, on their trip to Oklahoma, many Native Americans died because just the poor conditions of the traveling back, and they call it the Trail of Tears. I don't know if you ever heard of it. All right, also I want to share with you, so if you look at that map down here, it says where Oklahoma is. I don't know if you've been to Oklahoma. Next time, pay attention. If you look at their license plates, you'll notice that they say like Chickasaw Nation or Muskogee Creek Nation or Cherokee Nation or Seminole. So I thought that was really interesting. I was like, oh my gosh, that's like, instead of saying like Oklahoma, it says like Creek Nation. And that's where a lot of my family live today. They live in Muskogee or Okmulgee and other places in Oklahoma. All right. All right, in the education, I called my aunt because I wanted to learn more about just like the type of education that she received. And she told me about the boarding schools. And I don't know if you ever heard about the boarding schools, but the Native Americans, the children, they were put into boarding schools, and it was a way to make them assimilate to the new culture, right? The American culture. And my aunt, she had a better experience, but like before, when they just had opened the boarding schools, Native Americans, we love our hair to be long, and it's just part of like just who we are. And so whenever they went to the boarding schools, they cut all the kids' hair like super short. Of course, they took away their clothing. They wouldn't let them speak their language, or else they would get punished. just a lot. And then they also learned about Christianity. Whenever my aunt went, she had a better experience, and she said actually that she's very thankful that she went to the boarding schools. She had a great teacher, and they really loved on her and her siblings. My aunt had 7 other siblings, and they were all separated. So some went to different boarding schools, and they actually had really bad experiences, and they ran away from them. But my 2 aunts that went to this Eufaula boarding school, they had a good experience. But others were not as fortunate. Later on in her life, my aunt, she went to she did go on to high school, and the school, and it was a lot of white students, but there was a few Native Americans, and she was only able to go there because she babysat for a family. And whenever they moved, they also had her go with them because she took care of the kids. And so she was able to go to a really good school. And she graduated in 1961. There she is. She looks so beautiful. Later, the Indian Relocation Act happened right before she had graduated. And my other aunts and uncles, they actually moved to Dallas because of this Indian Relocation Act, where they offered training and jobs, and they even provided housing. So my uncle, I heard, he went there, and he actually did do the vocational training, and he became an engineer at a American Airlines, and he designed the what's it called? I can't think. The simulators. Yeah, the simulators. Yeah, so that's really cool. So it actually did work out for them. But as I was learning about this, a lot of Native Americans were not as fortunate. They actually they didn't get really great jobs, or they had the training they didn't or they didn't receive the training that they were promised, and it wasn't as great as they put off. But that's how my family came to Dallas, was through the Relocation Act. Today, I actually have a video over here, and it's just like what Native Americans struggle with today. And this video is from kids who actually live on reservations. Of course, I never lived on a reservation, but these are problems that Native Americans are going through. First is poverty, alcoholism, and I thought that was also highest suicidal rates, diabetes, and violence against Native women. I thought it was super crazy that how much worse it is for Native Americans. I mean, alcoholism mortality rates are 514% higher than the general population, and the suicide rates are more than double. And the Native teens experience the highest rate of suicide of any population group in the United States. Like diabetes, set 170% higher. It's awful. Here it is. I want to share this video with you guys.
3 minutes? Come on, you're not taking up.
That's my people! That's my people! That's my people! That's my people!
We live in a world that adults have created.
Here are the voices of the Native youth.
You asked us what we thought.
I want to tell you about my people.
My community has a roundhouse
where we continue our ceremonies and traditions.
Our community has a foresight
to give everyone free Wi-Fi.
My tribal council doesn't do a lot for the children.
We care more about tourists and casinos.
My mother is a big player.
And bringing back our language.
That's my people!
Diabetes runs rampant in my community.
We lose loved ones at a fast rate.
I care because that's
my people!
I love my mother.
Because she never quits.
My father never graduated high school.
But he does his best
to make sure our siblings have a bright future.
He's been on his own since he was 12.
He does his best to make sure we don't go through the same thing.
My grandmother was in the boarding school era.
But she didn't let that stop her
from creating the language program
and helping the community heal.
That's my people!
Whose people?
My people!
I want the people in our tribe to be free
and healthy
from substance abuse
and treat themselves with respect.
They are my people.
And
I care!
When you need someone to talk to,
my cousin is always there.
It would never turn you away.
When you need help.
The salmon ceremony is sacred
because it brings our community together
as one.
That's my people!
My Misho was widely known for being a prankster.
He tried to bring back my culture. When he was a tribal judge,
my great-grandmother
grew a community garden
that people ate out of when they were hungry.
And she would take the jacket off of her back
to give someone when they were cold.
Who cares? I care!
That's my people!
My hero is my grandma.
Because she was a single mother
with 8 kids.
And she still traveled to tribal communities
to provide them with health care.
That's my people.
My hero is my grandpa.
Because he's basically my dad.
He took care of me since I was young.
I could honestly say
he taught me everything I know.
A problem is substance abuse.
I want the people in our tribe
to be healthy
and treat themselves with respect.
They're my people.
And I care.
Who cares? I care because that's my people!
My hero is my dad.
He was courageous.
He showed me strong leadership qualities.
He taught me never to be scared.
To speak up.
I may have lost him at a young age,
but I'm still trying to carry on.
What he taught me.
That's my people!
My sister, she showed me I can get through hard times
if I just tried.
I love our community's Boys and Girls Club because it gives us a place to chill.
My grandma
treats everyone like they were her own.
I wouldn't even change a thing
on my reservation.
Because I love it the way it is.
My land.
My res.
My community.
My village.
Because that's my people.
Whose people? That's my people! That's my people! That's my people! That's my people! Whose people? My people!
All right, I thought that was an awesome video, and it just from coming from kids and just their experiences and with their the issues that they're facing. It's important to know these things so that we can connect with our students. Okay. How teachers can be an advocate. And this is also a way to, like I said, build those relationships and those connections and just come with a better understanding. One thing I would say, just these are the things I recommend, is be respectful. Like any culture, celebrate it. And we can do this by including books that are about diverse cultures and stuff. Make a note to our students that not all Native Americans are the same. I think that's a big thing because everyone from in my experience, everyone clumps all Native Americans together. And like I said, we each have we have different tribes. So like we have different languages and the way we dress and just our history it's different. Make a note to our students that not all Native Americans are the same. Avoid laughing at their language or clothing. I taught a preschool class. And I was teaching them the 5 civilized tribes. Yep, I was teaching them about the 5 civilized tribes. And they're like Cherokee, Chickasaw, Seminole, Choctaw, and they're just like, they're laughing. They thought it was so funny because it does sound different, right? Which I didn't blame them at all. And I was like, hey guys, like, it's not nice to laugh at other people's languages. Would you like if someone laughed at, the way you were talking in your language? And they're like, no. So I just think it's important also to kind of just acknowledge that and understand. And it's not a big deal. Just most people, they just don't really get it, and that's okay. But we gotta educate ourselves, right? Also, I would say avoid headdresses. That's just like a very it's a very touchy topic for a lot of Native Americans because it's sacred, and like I would just steer clear from wearing headdresses or any Native clothing, unless you're teaching about Native American culture, and you want to come and show them about it and talk to them about it, then I think that's totally appropriate. Also, I would recommend if you're going to talk about Native Americans or teach about Native Americans, I would focus on like 1 or 2 tribes at a time, because we don't want to clump them all together and just they're so different, each tribe. So I think it's cool to really learn about that one tribe or this or another. And these are all great ways to connect with our students. And some resources for Native American students. Whenever I was in high school, we had the American Indian Education Program. And literally there was probably like 6 kids. I don't know, yeah, 6 kids in my entire school. And what a teacher from actually the Urban Tribal Center that's in Dallas would come, and she would get all of us out of class and we would all meet together. And it was kind of cool because I was like, oh, there are other Native American students here too. Like, I'm not the only one. And then we would just kind of talk and hang out, and she would give us resources for us, like school supplies or like education or like counseling, tutoring, anything like that. Like they said, oh, if you need this, like we're here for you, we can help you with this. And it was really cool. And I got to meet other Native American students, which was really, really rare for me. I looked up LISD and AISD, and they don't seem to have this program. So I know I did look it up, and it's based off grants. You have to apply for the grants, but they are available. And maybe it's just because they don't have many Native American students. I'm not sure. I did see AISD at one point did have one, but they no longer do. Like over here, I found this flyer for the education program, the Native American Indian education program, and they're gonna have like a book club where they talk about, they're going to go over just some books about the Native culture, and like this one, do all Indians live in teepees? Like, so I think it's really cool that they offer that for their students. Also, there's an Urban Tribal Center of Texas. It is located in Dallas, but it's for for all Native Americans, and you can get there to get health services, counseling. They have stuff there for substance abuse. They have rehabs that they offer. So there's a lot of help that you can get there. They have a backpack programs, just all kinds of things. And it's available for all Native Americans. So if your kids, I don't know, just a good thing to know, because there's not really that many things for Native Americans like to get help that, or they don't know about it. Also, everyone, I've heard this a lot. Oh, you're Native American, that means your education is free. And no, it's not free. And honestly, it's based on your tribe. Like if your tribe is bigger, then of course, then they have more money, and then they can give you grants and stuff. You have to apply for those grants, but they are available. Like for instance, I'm actually going to be applying for a grant next semester, and it's just an application on their website. So if your kids, you have students who are going to go to college, you can say, oh, have you checked with your tribe, or just stuff like that, because there are stuff available and they may not even know it. Also, I wanted to share with you guys the Austin Powwow. It happens every year. It's one of the biggest powwows in the U.S. People travel all over. All different Native American tribes come over here, and it's just a big celebration to celebrate their culture, and it's also a way to connect with each other. And one thing is that Native Americans, it's just, it seems like we're just so small. So whenever everyone comes together, it's just a great thing. We just feel like, oh, there's other people like me. And of course, usually we don't dress like this. Like they're having actually they crown a princess and a prince and all this stuff for the dances, and each dance, it means something. It's there's a lot of meaning to it. I don't even know still, like, but it's fun. It's you can go, it's called a stomp dance. So you have a stomp dance. They have one for like, they usually use it to raise money for, like if a family is struggling, then they'll have a stomp dance and everyone will like just give money, and it's just like a fun way to do it. And also they have fry bread, Native American jewelry, art, just all kinds of things. And it's just so much fun. You really get to learn about our culture. So yeah, here you go. And sadly, they had to postpone the awesome powwow, and I was really sad because I was looking forward to going and taking my kids. Hope you guys enjoyed, and hope you learn about Native American culture. And I think this is a great way to include Native Americans in your curriculum, or just gain a better understanding of who they are. And this will help you connect with your kids. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.